Time now for the race to the White House. Three top candidates have taken themselves out of the running in recent days, leading some Republicans to worry about the strength of the field challenging President Obama. But the latest candidate to throw his hat in the ring says he can beat Obama by telling the truth. Overnight, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty made it official.
I'm Tim Pawlenty, and I'm running for President of the United States.
But while he's in, the news recently for the GOP is all about who's out. Take Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels, a favorite of many conservatives. He said no Sunday because of family considerations, writing, "I love my country, but I love my family more." Hot young Congressman Paul Ryan sounds almost as certain.
I'm not running for president. You never know what opportunities present themselves way down the road.
Then there's Sarah Palin.
My problem is that I do have the fire in my belly.
A fire that seemed to burn stronger with speculation she purchased this Arizona home as a campaign base. But she wouldn't comment on that. Newt Gingrich got in last week, but it was a rough start, including news about a reported $500,000 debt at Tiffany's.
I am debt-free. If the U.S. government were as debt-free as I am, everybody in America would be celebrating.
Most polls show Mitt Romney the frontrunner, but he's likely to face a serious challenge in New Hampshire from his fellow Mormon millionaire, former Utah Governor Jon Huntsman. Is there anything that could stop you from running?
My wife.
But with so many candidates opting out, today's entrant, Tim Pawlenty, may get the biggest boost.
This caps an excellent week for one person, and that's Tim Pawlenty.
And that man, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty, joins us now. Good luck on the launch, Governor.
Thank you, George, and good morning to you.
Good morning. So is George Will right? Are you the big winner from the Mitch Daniels announcement?
Well, Mitch Daniels is a friend, and I certainly support the policy direction and values he had for America, but I'm not a policy analyst or a pundit, I should say, and so we'll let the pundits figure out who wins or loses from him not being in the race. But what I know is this: our country's in trouble. I'm running for president because I can tackle and fix the budget deficit and the debt and get this economy back on track. That's what I did in Minnesota, and that's what I can do for America. You're
entering a race. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney has already entered. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich. It looks like former Utah Governor Jon Huntsman is going to get in as well. And you're still pretty far behind in the polls. What one thing sets you apart from these other candidates?
Well, every candidate's going to have his or her own life story. Every candidate's going to have their own record. There's only 4 governors in the country that got an A grade from the tough grading Cato Institute for Fiscal Management. I was one of them, and the other 3 aren't running for president.
Let's talk about that record, because you left your successor with a deficit that's projected to be about $6 billion. And one of your Republican predecessors as governor, Arne Carlson, he was governor for 8 years, says, "I don't think any governor has left behind a worse financial mess than Pawlenty has."
Yeah, that's just not accurate, George. My friend Governor Arne Carlson, of course, is now an Obama and John Kerry supporter. But nonetheless, during my time as governor, every time that budget was balanced, it has to be under the Minnesota Constitution. And even now, since I've left office, the last budget cycle ends this summer. It ends in the black. So that's just not accurate. I balanced the budget every time during my time as governor.
You said about a month ago that President Obama was in over his head on foreign policy. In the wake of the successful attack on Osama bin Laden, you care to revise and extend those remarks?
Well, I certainly give him credit for finding and killing Osama bin Laden. I also give credit to the Navy SEALs and to those people in the government, including President Bush, who did the hard work of developing some of the leads that may well have led to Osama bin Laden. But finding and killing Osama bin Laden is not the sum total of our foreign policy or security agenda or interests, and he's made a lot of other bad decisions in that regard. So I'll continue to be a critic of his and many of his foreign policy decisions. And this treatment of his in recent days and hours of Israel, and opening up the question of Israel's security by specifically embracing those 1967 borders, I thought was another misstep by him, and there's many in that regard. You're
announcing today, formally making that speech in Des Moines, Iowa. Is that state must win for you? And how worried are you that your Minnesota colleague, Representative Michelle Bachmann, who's looking to get in the race, could cause you trouble there?
Well, Iowa's the first caucus state in the nation, of course, and plays such an important role along with New Hampshire and the other early states. So any serious presidential candidate needs to do well here. I don't know that you need to win it, but you need to do well here. And as to Michelle Bachmann, she's somebody I have respected and certainly know well from Minnesota. Everybody's going to bring something different to the table. What I bring to the table is not only a blue collar up from your boot straps background, but a record in this area of the country and the country overall that's leading in the area of getting deficit and debt and spending under control. That's what the country needs. We need to have jobs and get this economy back on track. And I know what it will take to get that done, and that's what I bring to the table.
Governor, good luck on the trail.
All right, George, thanks for having me.